Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. Well, a balanced rack, no duplicates, but 3 high-scoring tiles, and I'm not seeing a bingo. So, what to do about it? Well, I could play something like hoves or hives, burning the S, but getting the H doubled. But how about Vom instead, much lower score, but restricting opponent's ability to score and retaining a pretty good 4-letter set? I am minded to play this. Well, some duplicates. And in fact, I pick up 2 O's. I was just wondering whether I should have played Omov on my opening rack, but I didn't have enough O's then. So what to do here? Well, I'm not seeing a 7. I suspect there could be some 8, so let me consider the V and the M. I have Chivu and Chivus, but that doesn't use the E. And I have the Miss and Ism endings. Wow, great play by opponent, both blanks. And 3 new floaters to consider. And I think they do work. I have Stushi through the T, but does that have an anagram? My immediate thought was that it does. Shooties, yes, and that is a double-double. Fantastic. No need to look any further. Shooties for 94. Back in the game. And not a bad rack. Pretty much always a good sight to see the Z. Holds out the prospect of a big score. And I have no duplicate tiles. And I have the possibility of getting rid of the W with the Z because Whiz is good. However, I don't have to play both of them. My priority is to identify Z spots. Well, my O can go underneath the J. Bittern only takes an S. I'm really not seeing anything. C can go in front of the H. I have ZO and DZHO. Interesting. Oh, well, I'm not going to do this, I don't think, but I do have Zoic for 36. And I hesitate because Zoic takes an A in front, so I feel there should be something better. So that's 36. That's 35. And again, it's the scoring potential provided to opponent that makes me want to find something better. What about Whiz here? Wow, that's even more points. And what's good about this is that it's burning the W as well as the Z. In all the previous candidate moves I considered, the W remained on the rack. But this rack leaves CDOR potentially pretty bingo-y, especially if I pick up a couple of vowels. And it goes well with the N and S on the board. I'm retaining an O for going next to the Z. Obviously E and A also go there, so I'm gifting quite a nice spot, but as soon as opponent plays 3 tiles, he'll be opening row O. Now, can I do any better than this? Is there a play which gets the Z doubled? No. What about a play in column 10? 4-letter play. Interesting, I could play Zoic in that spot. 34 points. Opponent will score less off it. Zoic takes nothing. Chord versus DRW. I am going with Whiz because the O that I'm retaining goes after the Z and also under the J. I'm going with this. Well, not a great pickup. No bingo here. I lead by 50. But I do have an O and an A for both of the high-scoring tiles. Just looking at the floaters, in particular the N. Wow, fantastic bingo by opponent, 74 points, which projects him into the lead. And I was just wondering if I'd played Zoic, would that have blocked it? But no, because opponent does have the A for front hooking that. Now, there's no point in turning over tiles to get the blanks because they've both been played. Is there really no bingo here? Well, let me consider the available floaters. Any bingo would be fairly low probability. No, not seeing one. Now, OB takes an A, so I could have Coda here for 32 points. Keeping the Y. Let me see what Koi scores. 30 points, that's similar. Keeping duplicate D, not great. Sick is good. But I am reluctant to retain duplicate D. I know it's only worth -5, but if I can avoid that, I would like to. And I don't have to play the C. So how am I doing for time? 14 minutes, 56 tiles left. So what about Dryad? 32 points. Decent rack lead, goes well with the N. Turns over tiles to draw the S, and the S is useful because of column 15, hooking bittern. My Y could go underneath the N. I can't see anywhere for Caddy. But the C is a good tile. I don't need to play it. Dryad is giving very little away. Effectively, 3 vowels need to go underneath DR and Y, and that's not going to happen very often. I am going with this. I draw the S for bitterns. Only one S to come out of 51 tiles. So I don't need to rush to play it. And I trail, so certainly might be worth having one go at leaving it open and bingoing. Although this rack isn't massively bingo-y. Well, I say that, but I would have logistic with an L. Do I have anything with the N? I have the ing ending. Not seeing anything. What about D and R? No, not seeing anything. I have Corgi through the R. 16 points, that's pretty lame. Opponents played 38 points. Good score. So I have Corgi. That's shutting down bingo lanes, providing a floating eye when I've got one. Burning the G. But I don't think the ing ending is worth hanging on for, especially with 2 Gs to come. Tricky situation, especially since I trail. I'd quite like to open more bingo lanes. A play in column 8 would be good. So do I have anything ending IC? Well, I do. I have Ictic. 30 points, decent score. And if I draw one of the 4 I's, I've got the ing ending. If I draw an N, I've got ing in row A. So I quite like this, and I like the score, and I like creating extra bingo lanes and extra volatility. I am going with this. Well, I dodged all of the N's and I's, and this isn't a great rack, but look at this. We are neck and neck. Through AZ, I would have Ways Goose. That's not going to happen. Now, do I have, I was going to say GUI in row L, but RO not good. Still that S to come for bitterns, but I'm minded to hold out on playing in that spot. Well, maybe I ought to consider, wow, great bingo by opponent. That gives him a 50-point lead. And there is a GUI spot. 40 points, pretty decent. It's retaining the W, but look at this. My W could go underneath the E for a 50-point play. Interesting. 40 points for GUI is pretty good. Certainly G's, O's and Y's not worth hanging on to, and quite a few E's to come. I am going with this. Well, short of vowels and no floating vowels on the board. Look at this. All of the floaters are consonants. So that is frustrating. Makes it harder to sort the rack out. I'll probably have to use my I and have an all consonant rack lead with the risk of then drawing more consonants. 4 U's to come, which are bingo killers. So I'm in a tricky spot. I trail by 70. Opponent's well, he's taken out that W spot and scored 50 points. So I trail by 70. I don't have a good rack. The game is not over. There are 30 tiles to come. But I'm certainly an underdog. So I could play wins for 34. Well, given that I trail, I think I should be keeping column 15 open. I do need to play off the W. But where can I get that to score well? Well, I keep coming back to this spot. Well, I could play wind here. And I like this. I don't like the score, only 20 points, but SPR goes pretty well with vowels. And let me check the remaining vowels. 20 out of 37, 20 out of 38 rather, so slightly vowel heavy. Obviously 4 of those vowels are U's, which aren't great. But opponent's going to be distracted by this W, leaving alone column 15, which is exactly what I want. And I'm retaining the P for Zep as well. 9 minutes on my clock. Still just the one vowel. How frustrating. But it means the remaining pool is vowel heavy, so I certainly don't need to give up. What I'm going to struggle to do is to play off the F here, which is what I'd like to do. Well, opponent obstructs this spot. Maybe now is the time to play. I could play grips. I could play frigs. 59 points. I think I need to do that. I trail by 90, so there's no point in playing around getting crappy low scores because a bingo won't win. I need to trust to luck, get a good score, and hope that I can get a bingo down somewhere. The T of Ictic is available. Not very much is available. The W of wind. That maybe I can generate some action in the bottom right. But really it's looking like just the T, but maybe that will slip under the radar. I'm going with frigs. Pretty grim. A million miles away from a bingo. But scoring tiles. Maybe opponent's got 7 vowels. X takes an O. I haven't got anything down from the W. I don't have an O for going after add, otherwise I could play my P in that spot. I'd quite like to generate a bingo lane down towards the bottom so that there are 2 lanes on the board. Where can I play with this rack? I really haven't identified any candidate plays. I do have a P for Zep, so I could play pup, and that's not too bad. Definitely a distraction for opponent. And if opponent doesn't have a high scoring tile, maybe I can get my K doubled with something like Kepi next turn. And that's 28 points, so given our current score difference, that would be quite handy. I'm no longer trailing by 100. Just 18 points. Well, just 18 points, 18 tiles in the bag, 12 now, having seen opponent play. He has created a new bingo lane. He has left T alone. So I have to do something with this rack. I can play pup. Poo-poo would be better, but I'm not seeing anywhere for that. Just looking at the pug spot here. No, well, I am a massive underdog, I think. But this rack leave isn't the worst in the world. I am going with pup. Slightly better looking rack. A and E, nice tiles. I don't have the tiles for Kepi. And I think opponent will do something down there. That must look like the biggest threat to him. But maybe if I play off K and U, what's left could be bingo-y. Only 9 tiles in the bag. So I could play AUK, O-U-K, creating a bingo lane in row N. What else could I do? Well, quite a few E's to come. I could play Uke, E-U-K. Interesting. Less easy for opponent to score off, but not creating a bingo lane in the same way that AUK does. I trail by 41, but opponent on turn, so I'm a bingo behind. But there is still this T for a bingo lane, and there's still an S unseen. Without the S, this T is a lot less useful. The T features at the end of bingos in IEST words. Well, there goes the S, and I think there goes my chances in this game. I'm 90 points behind. So what to do here? 5 tiles in the bag. Uke for 37. I think this is the play. There's only one bingo lane, but opponent may choose not to block it. And I'm just wondering if there is a bingo lane in row M. Are there any tiles which hook YU? Well, there's the G. Only the G, and only I have it. So row M is a bingo lane. 6 minutes on my clock. I am playing this. Well, not a fabulous rack. Do I have a bingo? This rack plus a T. No, not seeing anything. Nothing ending PA. 2 tiles in the bag, so I think this is the end of the game unless I can bingo. And I just can't see any way I could have a bingo. I'm not seeing any 8s with this rack. Well, long eval through an L. Opponent obstructs that T. And possibly completely removes it. But one tile to come. Interesting. I could play Yug, creating... That might be quite interesting. Well, if opponent's got an A, he can make it Yuga. Is that the play? Is there anywhere to play off the V? Well, I could play Rev, but that's not creating a lane. A bingo would still win this game. 5 minutes on my clock. What to do? I've got Vug here, so I can dump just the V. But that is not creating a new bingo lane. Rev only takes an S. There are none left. No R's left, so no over bingos. 13 minutes on opponent's clock, so he's got a ton of time. Jake takes R, S, and Y. All of those have gone. Maybe this is the play. But is there a bingo with these 6 tiles plus an A? And these 6 tiles plus one of these 8? Because if there is, I would have a hope of winning if opponent doesn't know Yuga. A pretty slim hope, I think. 4 minutes on my clock. But am I playing for something which is non-existent? Not seeing anything with the A or the B, D, E, L or U. So I'm not seeing anything. Novella. Well, that doesn't work. Well, grim situation, but that's the way these things go. I think I'll keep my powder dry, play Vug, and see what happens. So I have Donegal. Should opponent foolishly open a bingo lane, which he's not going to do. Just checking Donegal. Wow, if Yun was good, then Donegal would fit, because Rio is good. Does Donegal have an anagram? I thought it might, but it could be Donegal's and sloganed I'm thinking of. Let me consider tiles as initial. Well, opponents left that alone. Interesting. He's not created anything new. A bingo would win. 3 minutes. Is there an anagram of Donegal? So nothing beginning with A that I can see. D is Donegal and nothing else. E, G, L, N, O. Okay, no. Does anything begin with O? No. Do I have anything which goes in front of A-N-Y? No. So that's it. My race is run. I think the highest scoring spot is going to be across here, in which case I need to have G-E here. O would have to be here. There may be nothing here, and I'm not looking for a bingo, I'm just looking for a score. Well, I have Doge for 37. Am I going out with Lan? Well, opponent's going to be going out with his tiles, I'm pretty sure, so I think this is the best I can do. Is there an anagram of Donegal? I don't think there is. Okay, I am going with Doge. And opponent has 12 minutes to find an out for Lee. He certainly got it in row B underneath rat line. In a couple of spots. Yeah. And the final score, 444 for me, 483 for my opponent, a winning margin of 39 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Quite a high-scoring game and definitely a close one. So it was me to go fast. The aim, interesting, 24 points. What do? I play Vom for 16, retaining the S and only an 8-point score difference, so my play is better. Fantastic rack for opponent, no vowels at all, but he's got the blanks and he bingos. But look at this, I have shooties and I am totally back in the game, but unbeknownst to me, this was going to be my last bingo of the game. Opponent's rack plays Jai and K12 Wiz 39, that was my play. I still like that. Great bingo by opponent, not a terribly easy one to see. Menaces. Now this was a rack I struggled with. Cody, I like that. F2. Yeah, that is a nice play. So what do? Dryad for 32. Cody, definitely better. Opponent's rack plays Fee. Wow, missed bingo, co-tizing, C14. Wow, that looks odd, but it's good, and I missed it. Good grief, and that would have put me into the lead, so well done if you spotted that. Gosh, co-tizing. I play Ictic for 30, which was the second highest scoring, but definitely suboptimal. Opponent's rack plays rat line, which he would not have had if I had played co-tizing, so that's the way these things go. My rack, I play GUI for 40, that looks fine. Opponent plays Cox. And now it's pretty grim from here on in. I just don't get close to a bingo, and I've got just the solitary vowel. Pone for 30, M14. That would have been nice, opening up the board, retaining my vowel. Instead I play wind for 21, not as good. Opponent plays Quina, and now I play Frigs for 59, so I'm still within reach of my opponent. Opponent extends his lead, and I have this totally grim rack, and at this point my winning prospects plummet. L4, Uke. Well, I play Pup for 28 because I think Cune is a better rack leave than NPPU. Is it 9 points better? I would say yes. NPPU, tricky one to evaluate, but I would say that is between -10 and -15. And Pup, EKNU, negative, but maybe -5. So maybe a 10-point difference in score or something of that ilk. Now, a nice looking rack for opponent. No bingo, plays Isna. And there are 5 tiles left. And I'm not completely dead and buried, but I am nearly so. I play Uke for 37. And opponent with all these vowels. And plays Any, which is a nice play, taking out this T. No bingo here. I need a bingo to win, so I just play off one tile. Opponent plays blue. And finally, my last rack. No bingo. And Angel was playable for 39, and I played Doge for 37, so Angel slightly better. And opponent goes out with Lee. So, what a game. Absolutely nip and tuck all the way through. Opponents established a lead, but I felt throughout that I was close enough to him that I did have winning prospects until right before the end. There was a missed bingo towards the beginning with Kotizing, which could have had a dramatic effect on the game. Who knows? But these things happen, and it was a good battle nonetheless. So many thanks to my opponent for that game. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you next time.